We are counting down Broadway's biggest night, the 76th annual Tony Awards. Ain't No Mo has 6 nominations, including for Best Play. Now, this show is a raw satirical comedy starring and written by Jordan E. Cooper. He became the youngest Black American playwright ever on Broadway, but Ain't No Mo closed, I should say, less than a month after opening. CBS Saturday Morning co-host Michelle Miller met up with Cooper at New York's Crane Theater, where the show debuted, and they spoke about why he believes this play had such a short run despite critical success.
Are you riding high still?
I am. You know,
In Broadway's Ain't No Mo,
I am calling the police. That won't end well. Oh.
Jordan E. Cooper uses humor to spark difficult conversations.
I always tell people it's not going to be easy for Black folks, it's not going to be easy for white folks, it's not going to be easy for queer folks, but we all going to sit here and we're going to have this conversation and this experience together.
What about those who say that fear is something African Americans have always had to overcome?
The play explores a world where, to end racism, the U.S. government offers Black Americans a one-way ticket to Africa.
Miss Bag will be the carrier of our entire story as a people in this country as we make this glorious transition.
Where did this idea of this play come from?
I have a very dark sense of humor. So I have to find a reason to laugh over the pain, right? And I remember I had a run-in with a police officer at a 7-Eleven. I remember going back to my dorm room and just kind of contemplating my own worth in a way. Why do we go through this? And why do we put up with it? And why don't we all just get on a plane and leave? And that's where Ain't No Mo came from.
This is Feature Speaking, and I would like to be the first to welcome you to African American Airlines.
You're here for it not just as writer, but as Peaches.
It's Peaches.
Peaches!
Yes.
The drag queen flight attendant in charge of getting everyone on the plane.
Why a drag queen?
Because there's a very interesting relationship between Blackness and queerness. And a lot of times one wants you to pick the other. When in reality, it's like they both coexist at the same time. And I love the idea of what if Blackness had to depend on the blackest, queerest person possible to get them to their new leg of freedom.
Oscar-nominated director Lee Daniels discovered Cooper while scouting for new writers and helped bring Ain't No Mo to Broadway.
He just kind of believed in it from the very beginning. He saw an early workshop of it, and he came up to me in tears, and he was just like, I have to make sure the world sees this thing.
At 27, he became the youngest Black playwright in Broadway history. But despite strong reviews, ticket sales were poor. And it was announced Ain't No Mo would shut down just over 2 weeks after opening.
A lot of people just did not know about it, you know? I made the mistake of thinking I could just focus on the work being good when I don't necessarily have that privilege, you know?
He says there has to be a shift on Broadway. For starters, marketing more to people of color.
I think that theater is not accessible. People would tell me like, oh, Black people didn't get a chance to know your show, but also they don't go to Broadway. And I'm gonna tell you why a lot of Black folks do not go to Broadway. Because we don't see ourselves. We don't see our name on the door.
But before it closed, stars like Tyler Perry and Queen Latifah bought out full performances, hoping to keep the play alive.
When you have like heavy hitters like that behind you, what did that say?
Everybody who poured into the show wanted to make a point that this belongs on Broadway too.
Despite its short run, Ain't No Mo earned 6 Tony nominations, including Best Featured Actor in a Play for Cooper.
The nominations were huge for me because, one, I was in Texas with my family. I was grateful for that.
You leapt from the couch.
The nominees for Best Play are Ain't No Mo.
Yeah, I did. I really did. That was a moment that little Jordan has waited for all his life.
His passion for performing started at home and in the church in his hometown of Hurst, Texas. But New York City was always the goal.
This is the city. Were you getting vibes from
Oh, absolutely.
New York?
It was here on the campus of the New School where he wrote Ain't No Mo.
What would little Jordan, 10-year-old Jordan, be talking about? Could he imagine this? Did he imagine this?
He did imagine it. He did imagine it. He didn't always know if it was possible. Performing and writing was a means of survival, you know, in the sense of like being, once again, queer and black in the South. I knew I had to create and I had to talk and I had to write in order to really find my purpose in the world.
And he found it. Cooper says his only regret after receiving the nods is that he didn't get to go to the theater and do a show the same night. He's not only a playwright, he's also co-creator and showrunner of the Miss Pat show on BET Plus, which was just renewed, we have to say, for a fourth season.
Oh, wow.
And like CBS News is a part of the Paramount Global family.
Yeah, he was knockout in it. You can tell how creative he is, and it seems like it closed just as it was starting to build.
Yeah. Just 28 performances.
Yeah,
and full disclosure, I didn't even get to see the play, but it was so incredible.
But now that you've seen him, you want to see more from him.
You sure do.
Go, Jordan.
Sure do. Such a guy.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan. We'll be right back.